Today's episode of the Deep Fried Anything podcast is brought to you by Weirdest Apparel, a streetwear brand born from survival, rebellion, and curious creativity, designing sacred threads for strange times. Apparel by Riley Poor that speaks to rebels, mystics, misfits, and visionaries. Every Weirdest piece is printed specifically for you in order to minimize waste and avoid overproduction, allowing Weirdest Apparel to focus on quality, intentionality, and sustainability. So go support mindful streetwear from Weirdest Apparel at www.weirdest.shop. That's www.weirdest.shop. Don't indecently expose yourself to the public at large. Put on some clothes, weirdo, and make it Weirdest Apparel at www.weirdest.shop. Hey there, listener. Can I talk a doodle-doo to you about fried chicken? 'Cause Cookie's Country Fried Chicken is deliverancing the most delicious fried chicken in the Ballard and Pioneer Square neighborhoods of Seattle, Washington. You can dress that chicken with house-made sauces nicely, or do that chicken spicy with 4 levels of heat. Dunk in the mud, cayenne, habanero, and ghost pepper for all you spooks. This is finger-licking, ass-kicking chicken, seasoned to perfection. So pair it with the perfect side: tangy slaw, mashing taters, mac and cheese, or the carnival corn elote. Elote, you say? I might have to elope with one of these feathered freaks. Bring your tenderoni in for some tendies, or the farmer's favorite, bone-in style, or stay in and shuck down a chicky sandwich by ordering online at cookiescountrychicken.com. That's cookiescountrychicken.com. Don't be a chicken shit. Try Cookies Country Fried Chicken today. Well, welcome everybody to the Deep Fried Anything podcast. We didn't really find the success we were looking for with the first episode being about music stuff, so now we're just turning it into an ASMR food content.
You're going to want to get right on that microphone, brother.
Because basically, contract or no, we're not bowing down to any sponsors. But today's podcast is brought to you by Cookie's Country Fried Chicken in Pioneer Square. Holy shit, this is fucking delicious.
CCFC. I personally asked them to give me the spiciest chicken tender that they could. I didn't know that they were messing with Carolina Reaper. This thing is a beautiful color.
Yeah, we're turning this thing into hot ones.
Amber is the shade of my energy right now, so we're going with the ranch. And
it's going to be the shade of your asshole, too.
I am going to spend the next hour regretting this bite. Yeah, it's fine right now.
Boy.
Oh, okay.
Is that gonna get weird?
I want to hold it together, but here, you want a lady in the tramp this with me?
Can't I just bite off the other end?
That's what I'm offering.
I know, of like the same end. I don't want to.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to have 2 live ends.
Yeah, no fair.
Unbelievable.
I won a pepper eating contest in Puna, Hawaii, like 3 years ago.
It begins. Oh, yeah. No, let's podcast.
Well, you two buckle up, because suck my cock-a-doodle-doo, it's Cookie's Country Fried Chicken, huh? We have to run that one by the company.
That's never gonna get taken out of context. You got a little something there.
Yeah. Well, here I am with my 2 spiciest friends,
You want to hit this thing?
No. God,
Okay.
no.
Get weird, man.
I got to do some work over here. I'm here with the Sky King himself, Eric Hawk.
Hi.
Woo-hoo.
Here we go.
And actually the only person on the Deep Fried Anything podcast that has actually attempted to deep fry watermelon, Fanny Bradford.
You don't know what Eric's tried to deep fry before.
It's true. I used to work in a hotel for the graveyard shift and had whole access to the bar and lounge. I would deep fry anything, like the podcast.
Hey, there you go. Name of the game. To get you up to speed, last episode we mentioned the first pop star ever. Eric called him Young Franz Liszt because he's Young Franz Liszt, and I'm here to say I throw my gloves off in a major way.
UFO.
I got to apologize because last episode I called German composer Robert Wagner. But
We
then I
corrected you in real time.
You
on
did,
that.
you did. But then I remembered that Wagner was an anti-Semite and German nationalist during the rise of the Nazi Party.
Oh, well, fuck
When
that guy
did
to
you
death.
remember that?
A couple days later, when I was editing the audio,
Doubling down.
Wagner can suck it though. So that's the update on that one. Our Beatles aficionado Eric Hawk gave us a quick rundown on Brian Epstein's creation, the Beatles,
Suits.
and how
I got to get these boys in suits.
and how they were the first mimicked and emulated boy band. Eric, seeing as though you are the podcast's Beatles aficionado,
Okay.
Brian Epstein had an island?
It's so hot. This chicken tender is so spicy. It's
Take
absurd.
a sip of Celsius.
I'm not turning red because I'm bashful about the association.
Well,
What
I heard Brian
that
Epstein's island is
that
spicy.
fucking monster did on that island was sick. But then he introduced the Beatles to Hare Krishna, so
There you
potato,
go.
potato.
Got up for it. We also acknowledged the underrated Beatles impersonators, the Monkees. You guys, between the last episode and this one, I watched the episode of the Monkees TV show that features Frank Zappa, where Mike Nesmith plays Frank Zappa and Frank Zappa plays Mike Nesmith. And I was like, oh, this is adorable. It's super funny and charming. And then I went and watched Head, the actual Monkees movie, but I kind of forgot that it was literally released in kind of the heyday of the anti-Vietnam War movement. So you guys, there's footage of them performing, and then you've got the screaming female fans doing this. And then they superimpose images of Vietnamese women in the war
Oh my God, they fucking do.
doing that. Oh. And I had to turn it off. Heavy duty.
What's more racially problematic, that or the entirety of the Beatles film Help?
Ugh.
Predicated on like the big bad Indian restaurateur that
Yes.
wants Ringo's ring.
Yeah, Head was intense. It was way more intense than I.
You know what I
It's
just
not
put-
the TV show.
I just put together in real time as a lifelong Korn fan. Their guitarists' names were Monkey and Head, were they not?
Wow, they must have been huge Mike Nesmith fans. That's crazy. Big influence.
This is so spicy. How you doing?
I'm fine.
You're good?
Yeah, I won that competition.
You sure did.
I won this
I'm
competition
getting a lot
too.
of mileage out of this single tissue napkin provided by the podcast studio. Thank you.
Well, again,
Oh,
shout
hell
out
yeah.
to
Let's go.
shout out to Cookies Country Chicken. Man, awesome.
That's a
This
juicy
is
tendy.
great.
That's
This
a
is
great
great.
candy. That's
It's great.
fantastic.
I also read that the Monkees got banned from the Hollywood Bowl.
I know this story.
Yeah, because Dolan's jumped into the fountain.
Yeah.
And that was like a big no-no at the time, which is weird that they had a fountain between the crowd and the stage. But yeah, rebel.
We played the bowl recently in
They
Portugal
put
the
people
Man.
where the fountain is, correct?
There's season ticket holders, and they've turned it into like a very sit-down dinner theater, which is a really interesting thing when you're
That's the
seeing like
vibe.
70-year-old donors like cutting together like a chicken cutlet while you're trying to like rock.
Wildin'.
It's a vibe.
The only thing I could think of that was like a show close to water was those photos of like Led Zeppelin coming to Seattle and playing
Oh.
the floating stage at Green Lake, which is just like nuts because there's all this electrical equipment all over the floating stage.
It's
which
right.
doesn't seem like
yeah.
a good idea.
It's like where they rent the paddle boats, yeah?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's insane. I thought you were going with a different waterfront Led Zeppelin story.
Don't tell that one.
Oh yeah.
It's the mud shark, right?
Yeah, the mud shark in the hoo-ha.
That's not what we're talking about on
Yeah,
this
yeah.
podcast.
We'll get to that type.
That's
of
every
music.
other podcast.
Yeah, we'll get to that type of musical mayhem. Last episode, Eric, you asked me too if Marie of the Osmonds was like brother and sister or married or whatever, and so I was like, oh, we should maybe. And I didn't answer you
at the time. So I was like, oh, we'll do this real quick. Marie was the Osmond family's daughter. Her first album, Paper Roses, came out in 1973, 3 years after the Osmonds scored the hit with One Bad Apple.
Okay.
Her record is basically like this Baroque wall, reverbed out, easy listening Nashville country. Every single song, I swear to God, I listen to the record, is like a waltz. So it's just like, and I'm going out on the town. It's just that the whole fucking time. The record, very much like the Taylor Swift of her time. The album Paper Roses was number 1 on the Canadian and U.S. country music charts, and she was huge in the UK. The record was number 2 on the UK pop charts.
Crazy.
Fanny on the last episode additionally brought up the Sex Pistols. I have to admit, because I looked it up because I was like, yeah, I should figure out what's going on. I had no fucking idea that the members of the Sex Pistols when they started were 14 to 16. That I don't know why. And then Rachel was listening to some of that album when she was getting ready the other morning, and then I just heard John Lydon singing on that, and it's like, oh shit, he is 14 to 16.
I knew Sid was like the baby. Wasn't Steve Jones like several years older than the
everything
other guys?
That I read was like the band members were 14 to 16, which then it's like puts everything into context. There was I also saw like a tweet or a thread or something earlier in the week because John Lydon's back in the news because he's wearing the MAGA stuff around again.
Yeah.
And someone was like, if that surprises you, just remember the Sex Pistols were a boy band, not a punk one. And it was like, oh shit, that's what we were talking about last week.
Right.
Very crazy.
And Malcolm McLaren fucked up their career in the
New York
Dolls.
Dolls.
Yeah.
And you guys were talking about the Dolls.
New York Dolls is good though.
Yeah, everything that I could find about the New York Dolls, for some reason it said like the members were 18 to 21.
Yeah.
That's the age I like my proto-punk rockers. Nice and
But
legal.
that came together kind of organic. Like there's the film New York Doll about Killer Kane and his whole crazy life and career.
That's a fucking great movie.
That is an insane movie.
It just seemed like it was like, okay, so like they weren't like, yeah, in their there's like David Johansen was the oldest. He was 21 like when, so it was but Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls.
We covered New Edition and their $1.87 royalty checks, which sounds a lot like my BMG quarterlies. I personally listened to a lot of Bobby Brown between the last episode and now, particularly the record Don't Be Cruel, which was primarily produced by Babyface. Oh, yeah. I loved that record as a kid. Still love it just as much today. And then I'd forgotten that in an interview, Bobby Brown said that to help relieve Whitney Houston's constipation, sometimes he would put his finger in his bum. Or in her bum.
How does that work?
That's love, number 1.
I think that's opiates and
it
cocaine.
might be his prerogative.
Oh, you see what he did there? This guy. We're associated with this. This is going to follow us
spicy.
forever.
This episode's spicy
I chose
already.
the side of the room I sat on.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sat over there.
Fair enough.
Sat over here.
And then, of course, we wrapped up the first episode talking about the cigarette dispersing Caucasian follow-up to New Edition, the gentrifying New Kids on the Block, and finally acknowledged the brilliance of Boyz II Men and the boy band isms of Blink-182, which all feed into the musical milieu that is Lou Pearlman and the golden era of boy bands. And today we're tackling part 2, Life with Lil Louie.
By God, we got to him.
We got to it. Before we jump in, we have to acknowledge the main source for the remainder of the series, which is a book called The Hit Charade by Tyler Gray. It's the Homer's Odyssey of the Lou Pearlman story. Really informative, really, really well researched. Worth reading if you just get curious after this whole series. So close your eyes, guys. We're gonna cue
literally or figurative.
Yeah, we're gonna well, whatever, get imaginative because we're gonna cue up the crew cut shaboom, 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 oh yeah. The New York Giants are battling it out with the Brooklyn Dodgers for the top spot in the National League because we're taking you back in time to the boroughs of Queens, New York in 1954. Shaboom, shaboom, shaboom.
Life could be a dream
if
you could only.
Okay, we're going. Here we go.
That's as many notes as you can do without paying for it.
For sure. And I think it's also important, you guys, as I was reading about Lou Pearlman's childhood, I could not stop thinking about the Louis Anderson cartoon,
Life with Louie. Yeah.
Because there's a picture of Pearlman when he's young, and he has like the khakis with the little brown shoes, and then the
gap
button
teeth?
up. Yes, except he has red hair instead of blonde, and it just like I couldn't read the entirety of his childhood stuff without thinking about just like, this little guy. So here we go. By all accounts, Lou's childhood is quite a difficult story to tell because Pearlman's recollections were anywhere but accurate. We do know it all began when Louie was born on June 19th, 1954, in Flushing, Queens, where Pearlman would grow up on the third floor of a modest brown brick building in a middle-class cluster of high-rises called Mitchell Gardens. And it's like kind of like a horseshoe shape of like a bunch of different like brown brick apartment units. And then they had like playground and sort of the lawn area in front in the middle of everything.
These are not like the projects that you see on the Cross Bronx Expressway.
No. This is like very middle-class white Jewish working families.
Right.
The only child, born to his parents well into their late 30s after a few unsuccessful attempts at pregnancy. His mother, Renee Pearlman, volunteered as a milk lady and teacher's aide at the local elementary school. She was matronly, tucked in, modestly groomed, and by all accounts described as sweet, adoring, and having a heart of gold. She was just the mom in the neighborhood. She lived for her boy Lou and kept him happy and well fed, while his father, Herman, lively and witty, was the 1950s typecast of a working class provider who ran a small dry cleaning business, which he used to unremittingly spout the merits of customer satisfaction and service to a little Louie Pearlman. And by the age of 8, the precocious and naturally gifted with numbers little Louie had also styled himself as an entrepreneur, a hustling paper boy, and the proprietor of a lemonade stand next to a nearby bus stop.
Louie's Lemonade.
Yeah, little Louie's. Hey!
Little Louie.
For a nickel, get you lemonade. Most people don't know the secret ingredient's piss.
This is great. Yeah. I'm moving into spectator mode here. This is fantastic. Riff, bro.
It's enjoyable. I've been in it for a while.
Yeah.
Now, in both Tyler Gray's The Hit Charade and the Boy Band Con documentary by Aaron Kunkel, Lou's childhood friends laugh and scoff at the way in which Lou made up stories in his youth about grandiose adventures, claimed expertises, and the way Pearlman described things like his paper route and lemonade stand. It reminded me of, yeah, that's it. What's that, John Lovett's character?
Every John Lovett's
Yeah,
character.
he's got the one. It's...
No, the guy that's like always coming up with a new lie.
The critic?
Oh. I'll have to look. I forget. Yeah, it was just like if he gets your attention with one, hey, you guys know I was down at the corner store the other day. And they're like, oh, the one where they sell the bubble gum for 5 cents? Like, yeah, speaking of that bubble gum, and then it's just like one thing leads to another. Anyways, and I had sent Danny and Erica a thing yesterday about it was a speech dialogue coach doing like the Queen's accent, and then we just kind of realized that everybody talks like a baby in Queens. Like she was just like describing like these Queen's accents.
In the corners of your mouth. Brooklyn.
Poke the corners of your mouth. Poke it. So at any rate, there's going to be a lot of these accents, and yes,
There's going to be a lot of unified mouth posture.
Yeah, think of him as a little boy that sounds like John Lovitz.
So when I was, I didn't actually read his book. I listened to it.
Yes,
I had AI read it to me.
But this is, and so Danny's talking about Lou Pearlman released like a self-help autobiography, right?
It wasn't an autobiography. It was just like how to be an entrepreneur and say the word entrepreneur every 5 words.
And it's out of print, rare, and expensive to find online. But Danny found the AI one that talks to you?
No. I downloaded it for free from annasarchive.org.
Gotcha.
And then I had AI read it to me in the voice of my choosing, which was like a Western guy. And so, I don't
have. You would have picked the Queen's guy.
No, it was already set on Western guy.
Oh, okay.
'Cause
Western like Sam Elliott?
Yeah. They basically just have like a Sam Elliott guy.
Hell yeah.
I was listening to a Western. And about halfway through, I was just like, man, this guy's kind of a badass. And I was like, it's because of the goddamn voice. So I just switched it to like this little wiener guy.
Oh, I thought you were saying he's a badass because as Lou Pearlman, kind of flubbed his entire existence.
I mean, he is a badass as described by Lou
described
Pearlman.
by Lou
yes,
Pearlman, yeah.
yes, yes.
Guy really.
I mean, he just didn't have like a lemonade stand. His lemonade was so good that like the bus drivers would like bring busloads of people by, and they would literally just throw money at him, and he would like hold up cups of lemonade, and they would grab it as they go.
And I think those are the types of stories that are just like, wait, hold on. You guys have seen buses pull up at a corner. The bus doesn't hang out there long enough for people to get money out of. Like, so yeah, those types of exaggerations are like the exact
they drove
same
slow,
thing.
so
They're
that
the
you could do
exact-
it.
No,
There's
I think-
one thing that New Yorkers love. It's sitting in unair-conditioned buses waiting for people to
for
get
a little boy
lemon.
to, little chubby kid.
See, here's the thing: is before you guys brought this up, I didn't even think to doubt it because it was a cowboy telling me.
And that's
Yeah.
like Lou Pearlman's whole thing is that like he's flubbing everything. He gets a lot of attention this way.
Here's the deal. If you don't believe your own press releases, no one else is going to believe it.
Bingo.
Also, his lemonade was so good that his friends would always come by for the lemonade, and because he didn't want to lose out on all that lemonade revenue, he would send them upstairs to drink his mom's lemonade that he didn't have to pay for. I don't know, it was weird.
In reality,
This is still very spicy, by the way.
Oh my God, yeah. Let's get into more spiciness with Lou Pearlman here, because in reality, throughout the totality of his life, basically the most honest thing he ever had was this lemonade stand. Exaggerations be damned, because basically his parents financed the materials, Pearlman manufactured the product, he handled the distribution, the marketing and sales schemes, and he just understood one of the core principles of business at a young age, taught to him by his father, which is, like we're talking about with the bus stop, location, location, location. Choosing the bus stop as the place to set up his lemonade stand allowed him to capture the attention of workers, commuters, coming home and getting off the bus from their day with a simple, tried and true lemonade recipe.
I mean, not for nothing. Also, what he learned from his dad is the importance of customer service and getting to know your customer intimately, which he then uses during his paper route. I'll wait for you to get to the paper route.
Yes, the paper route's coming up, which gets a little wild.
Do you think his father was getting to know customers intimately through dry cleaning practices?
Yeah, that's how you get to know people. The dirty laundry.
Oh,
literally.
Okay.
We'll hear about his father.
You didn't think
There's a lot to cover.
You didn't think cum stained in the 50s? Cum's been staining for centuries.
Lou started charging a nickel a cup, pocketing 2 cents per sale, but that wasn't enough for little Pearlman. And his preternatural instinct for greed kicked in, and after a few weeks, he raised his price to 7 cents a cup, doubling his profit to more than 100%. But it didn't stop there. Lou noticed that most customers carried only dimes and nickels on them. So when he changed his price to 7 cents, he also stopped carrying pennies for change, which meant that every passerby who bought a cup of lemonade would generally just toss Lou a dime, say, keep the change, little buddy. Do your thing.
He cops to that in the book.
Does he?
What you call greed, he calls entrepreneurship.
Shit, dude. Wild.
Smart kid.
Yeah. Alan Gross, which you'll hear a lot about Alan Gross because he's the neighborhood kid that lived in the same apartment complex as the Pearlmans. He would be Lou's babysitter and probably the closest person to Lou. He said Lou would tell tall tales and stuff. He was a weird guy. Even for being awkward, Lou still tried to fit in with the boys on his block. But Alan Gross said that it never went well. As an example, he tells this story in Tyler Gray's hit charade. This is like fucking awesome. Because this is like, yeah, you've had this experience growing up as a kid. Alan Gross says, I'll try to do this in my best Queen's puckered accent, says, it snowed heavily one year when Lou was probably 7 or 8, and it must have been the winter just before he launched his lemonade stand. The sprawling sloped lawn in front of Mitchell Gardens was transformed into virginal sledding grounds for the neighborhood kids. Played right, one could slide all the way from the tip-top of Union Street to the bottom of the front lawn. A beeline, diagonal path that ended near the entrance to the garage around the side of the building. A few of the young pioneers packed down a groove, and before long they were whisking by in a blur, barely skirting metal pillars and chains that delineated a concrete walkway. When the other kids had groomed the run, Lou grabbed Alan's sled and he demanded a turn. Once Lou got to know you, he was very domineering in a way you wouldn't immediately realize. Gross tried to warn Lou, but the thick little youngster was off on the sled and gaining momentum down the run, and likely because he was heavier than most of the other boys in his neighborhood, Lou picked up way too much speed, way too early, and started losing control by the bottom half of the hill. As he careened towards the pillars and chains along the concrete path, he was unable to steer or stop, and Alan Gross and the rest of the neighborhood kids watched and winced as Lou slammed into one of the metal pillars dead on. And the next thing he remembers is everybody cracking up, Lou at the bottom of the hill holding his arm and going, "Wow!" Alan Gross said, "I heard a snap immediately. Everyone else was just sitting there laughing at him, so I had to take him to his mom."
Round of applause for the accent.
Yeah.
It was well done.
It's beautiful mouth posture.
Really.
I told Danny and Eric I was working on my oral posture all night. So,
Your mouth shape really does change.
dude, yeah, pucker your lips, pucker those corners. But for Lou's gift of gab and industriousness, he was still a short, round, red-headed Jewish kid, having inherited his build from his father. And as he grew into adolescence and his peers were playing sports and chasing the opposite sex, Lou spent a lot of his time indoors, where he sketched and colored, created his own fantasy worlds, outlined fake businesses, and became a bona fide, as he puts it, quote-unquote, helium head, the slang term for a blimp enthusiast. Here we go, Thanny.
What I was going to say
Helium head.
is that it's nice that you put in the part about chasing broads and all that, because he doesn't mention the fact that men and women have sex with each other in that book until
Yeah.
he brings it up once, and it's shocking. You're like, whoa, I forgot that was a part of life.
We will totally get to later on in his life his asexual nature, which is
He talks about having a girlfriend and buying her a fur coat. And I was just like, what the fuck?
That's second base.
Yeah. And that's when he's in his mid 40s.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, he does not that's one of the things is and you'll realize what's one of the attractions to him, surrounding himself with young boys, is he doesn't have a lot of friends during this time. And that's something that
he has a lot of friends during every time.
There's a
him.
lot of people around. And remember, there's no phones. There's no, the neighborhood kids all play outside where everybody can sort of see them in the neighborhood. But most of when you're hitting puberty, it's he starts to, besides Alan Gross, who babysits him, he starts to just become almost like a homebody. He was building model planes and aviation machines while watching hours of his favorite TV shows, Sky King.
Yo.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And Whirlybirds. I don't know. Now I got to look up those shows, especially Sky King, because Eric Hawk's new record out right now.
Yo.
Go listen to it.
Shout out me.
Yeah. And Lou centered himself in roles of importance and in control of all these various scenarios and creations in his bedroom. Another reason Lou also could have been spending more time indoors was that a rumor his father had a mistress had become known to several kids in the neighborhood, who seemingly knew about it before Lou did. And while Lou would not find out until later, eventually it was revealed to him that Lou's father, Herman, not only had a mistress, but had a baby girl with her as well. Aww. So there's a whole second family now.
Back when you could have a second family on a living wage. As a dry cleaner.
That's the craziest thing, too, is I couldn't help noticing you're always coming here and washing your panties.
Yeah, I thought maybe I'd get a closer inspection.
Thought maybe I could help you with those dirty panties.
Unsolicited advice.
While there was never an official DNA...
He did own the dry cleaner.
I guess
it's his place.
It's solicited.
He's there all the time, yeah. Well, there was never an official DNA test done as proof. In Tyler Gray's hit charade, it says that at least one person close to Lou said that Pearlman actually kept in cordial contact with the alleged half-sister as he entered his adult life.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. And again, that was never actually verified by Tyler Gray, who did a bunch of really good research, but essentially that was kind of there was this known other person that Lou kept.
He did a bunch of really good research, didn't verify it, but included it in his book anyway?
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
Lou.
Yeah, that's like there's like we were talking about this outside, but yeah, so much of his early life is unverified because again, if you talk to Lou about it, he was just bullshitting you. So you could never get a straight story unless stuff was documented by like the FBI and FDIC insurance papers and stuff like that. So yeah,
Hell yeah.
Alan Gross, again, the babysitter, would frequently stop by to visit Lou at this time and had noticed slight changes in Renee Pearlman's routine with their son too. So Lou again stops playing with the kids because the kids are like, "Oh, your dad's boinking a lady." There's this. He's just like embarrassed and dealing with that internally. Renee, Pearlman's mom at this time, started frequently frying up bacon and hamburgers for Little Louie and Little Louie alone. Gross further stated that when he would come over, quote, "His mom didn't like it when I played with his toys." And Alan Gross, nor any of those who knew Lou at this time, ever recall him being punished, as he could do no wrong in the eyes of his mother. And when Louie, who loved to wrestle, and the fact that Lou Pearlman loves to wrestle will come up a lot in this guy's life.
Little Latin loopy Lou.
Would often break something in the Pearlman apartment, and it often resulted in Alan Gross or other kids in the neighborhood taking the blame. When Lou finally started to spend more time outside in the spring and summer, he filled that time dropping off newspapers to the Mitchell Gardens tenants. And this is where Pearlman's recollection of his delivery days and those of the people who knew him diverge. Lou tells it this way. A pair of paperboy brothers, the Liebenstein. Oh, sorry, I got to do like Lou's. Do I got to do Lou's voice for this? Here we go.
Should have used different color highlighter.
Yeah. Well, I should have gone orange. Yeah.
So, he's Lil Louie. So, Paperboy Brothers, the Liebensteins, offered Lou the...
Oh, no, I don't have to do this in Lou's voice. This
Yeah,
is
you do. Yes, you absolutely do. This is golden.
offered me the chance to take several of the paper routes for a combined $1,000, which I didn't have, so I promised to take the routes and pay back the brothers within 30 days. And since I was running up and down 6 flights of stairs in different complexes, that made up Mitchell Gardens. I can't breathe. I've been running up and down flights of stairs. It was not something I wanted to do, let alone was I in the physical condition to actually do it. So I hired a small group of young boys from the neighborhood.
This is what he says?
I'm actually realizing that this is like Lou tells it this way, but I'm trying. You asked me to do it in Lou's voice.
I got lost in the moment.
I'm not
Sorry.
stopping. Yeah, I've sucked you in now as an actor.
So I hired a small group of younger boys from the neighborhood to deliver the papers.
And now I'm going to go back to the narrative voice. After 30 days, Pearlman only had about half of what he owed the brothers. And this is Lou's story. So he bargained for more time with interest. Charge me. And started to work at a breakneck speed, which, my God, he's this little chubby kid. Apparently going up. Yeah.
To the younger boys doing it.
Well, I mean, he would say that he was, because basically he's saying that he was the one who went at a breakneck speed to offer discounts to his customers.
I'm doing this.
Yeah. Pound it. Let's get spicy. Thanks again. Cookies, Country Fried Chicken, Pioneer Square. Get that. So after 30 days, Pearlman said he only had about half of what he owed the brothers. So he bargained for more time with interest, started to work at a breakneck speed, offering discounts to his customers if they'd subscribe to both the newspapers that he sold. And not only that, but he would start delivering on Sundays. He also told his clients, this is Lou's version, that he had made arrangements with newspaper distributors to receive Sunday paper sections, with the exception of sports and news, because those were turned in, timely, a day early. So basically, I will give you a half-off discount, deliver the Sunday newspaper on Sunday, but also on Saturdays, I'll get you the Sunday sections a day early.
Well...
And I'm 8 years old. I have relationships with newspaper distributors.
paper boys have relationships with newspaper distributors.
Not those type of relationships.
Well, here's the thing.
We'll get into the other relationships.
The reason, I can't believe I'm a fucking Lou Pearlman apologist.
Yeah. Can you see the effect of Lou Pearlman?
He was a cowboy.
This guy reads...
It's a greasy, charismatic
this
cowboy.
This guy reads his how-to and now can't get over the fact that maybe he might have been a con man. But this is good because we need this type of perspective.
Well, the reason that he did nobody was delivering the Sunday paper because it was fucking heavy. That's why he delivered it in 2 parts. because it's heavy.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he's like,
holy shit.
He's like, it's too heavy. Nobody delivered it. So part of the paper was already done on Saturday. So we would get that out of the way then. Then we deliver the rest of it on Sunday.
Yeah, if that sounds like bullshit, wait till the next thing Lou Pearlman says he throws in.
It doesn't sound like bullshit.
Then Lou Pearlman says
sounds like weight distribution. Do airplanes sound like bullshit?
Listen to this.
But
though.
he cut it along the y-axis is the thing.
He cut it along the why not axis.
Whoa.
And on the why not axis, Lou said, "Hey, why not?"
That's not the voice.
Why? He said, "Hey, also, I've arranged a deal with local Dunkin' Donuts. I'll buy the donuts in bulk at cost, and then I'll charge you assholes extra for the breakfast if they combined it with their weekend paper deliveries." So now, let's put this into perspective. Lou Pearlman is offering or saying that he also has deals with the local Dunkin' Donuts where he can also get everybody discounted donuts with their morning paper deliveries, that he's also saying that he can get them early. So you've got interest, refi, delay tactics, hiring young boys to do his bidding, ingenuity, sweet treats, which are all hallmarks of the Pearlman future operations, as well as one other trademark, which Stanley apparently seems to not believe: deception, because none of Lou's newspaper tale is true at all.
A lot of his customers would say that since he was bringing the paper and the donuts and the coffee, that he was the reason that they wouldn't even leave their apartment on Sunday.
I think, again, this is all coming from Lou Pearlman in the voice of Sam Elliott.
People want to be delivered to. He was a cowboy.
Well, one of
And
the
it was at this time that I arranged to combine the local Sunday paper a night before and the morning of, along with a tasty treat.
I can't do it. I don't know.
That's good. That's good.
I got a mustache, but I got no other qualities of it.
One of the Liebenstein brothers, again, this is the Liebensteins were who Lou said he bought the paper route from. One of the Liebenstein brothers, who became a real estate broker in Manhattan for nonprofit groups, said of this time, Lou may have helped me out in a snowstorm or, when I was sick or something, but I have no recollection of selling him a paper route. And he continued, $500 sounds like an incredible amount of money in 1964.
It sounded like a lot to me, too.
Yeah. He said, Lou's really got an imagination. In fact, it was Lou's tall tales which kept Liebenstein and his friends, who were 4 years older than Pearlman. That's like Alan Gross and everybody in the neighborhood. These tall tales were what kept all these people hanging around with the gregarious, husky honcho, so they could secretly laugh at Lou behind his back, saying Liebenstein, Louie, he was fat, but he thought he was a boss. It was also 1964, and the Beatles, Beach Boys, and the Four Tops began to revolutionize popular music as the world knew it, and they would do so by means of the British invasion, the rise of the Motown factory, and new technologies in televised music performances. Influences that would show up in Pearlman's philosophy on how he approached breaking both Backstreet Boys and NSYNC to the world decades later. We kind of talked about that, about the European connection. That if you're from the UK and you build a following in the US or vice versa in Europe, it seems to propel your career later on to be able to say that an entire other continent was into you before your home.
Or in the case of the zombies, you have no idea it's happening, and shady producers put together a fake version of your band to put it on the road.
Yeah.
You know that story? Another episode. So he's Cartman.
Who?
Pearlman.
Oh, 100.
Yeah.
By the time he gets into his teenage years, he's Cartman with Kyle's orange Jewish hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Music! Lil Louie would frequently tell the Liebenstein brothers and other kids in his neighborhoods, runs in my family. And while you couldn't blame any of Pearlman's peers...
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a lie?
While you couldn't blame any of Pearlman's peers at that time of also counting this as another one of Lou's ridiculous claims...
Fuck.
Like as Liebenstein put it, the one thing about Louie that we thought was cool was the fact that his cousin was frickin' Garfunkel. That was an actual fact. Hello, darkness, my friend.
Wait, so Art Garfunkel is his cousin, though, yeah?
Is his cousin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't Garfunkel? Hello, darkness, my old friend.
One of the
So
A&R
everything so far that can be verified has been verified.
100%. And that's what I was saying about Tyler Gray's great book, The Hit Charade. You should go read it if you enjoy this series. Is that, yeah, he really like wiggles out what is true and what is not for the most part. Oh, I was going to say, one of the A&Rs that KK worked with way back in the day, John Siddell, had gone to see a Crosby, Stills, Nash concert. And he was sitting down in like the second row, because he's an A&R guy, and he was listening. He was just having the best time. And they were hitting all the classics and stuff. And then he said, second song in, throughout most of the entire set, he was like, there was all of a sudden a fourth harmony, and I was going, what the hell is going on? And he was like, I was trying to be respectful and watch the show, but at one point I just turned around to look at who was doing this fourth harmony perfectly through the entire set, and sure as shit, it was Art Garfunkel.
Damn.
And he was like, so I got a Garfunkel, Crosby, Stills, Nash personal concert like in my ear because he was right behind me.
That's amazing.
Pretty cool. So Lou's parents held his bar mitzvah at a Queens party hub called Leonard's after a traditional Jewish service in June of 1967, with 60 to 70 people from the neighborhood, as well as aunts, uncles, and cousins. And yes, that cousin showed up at the bar mitzvah too. Art Garfunkel was already putting Lil Louie up on the thing. Hey!
Yeah.
Boy, hey! Art Garfunkel was already a wildly popular folk singer by then, and he'd shown up just to pal around with his round, doughy little cousin Louie. Alan Gross remembers the party being unremarkable.
Not too doughy to get up on a chair.
100%. Alan Gross remembers...
Probably not that doughy. If anything's exaggerated, it's the kid's doughiness.
Oh, man, you're going to defend this guy to the fucking end of this series, aren't you?
His cousin is Art Garfunkel.
Yeah, pretty wild. Alan Gross remembers the party being unremarkable, with the exception of Garfunkel's attendance. Gross says, the fact that Garfunkel showed up to his bar mitzvah did a lot for Lou's credibility. And Lou, of course, doted his famous cousin the entire evening. All right, tell him about how I sled good in the wintertime. All right, tell him how I'm the best sled. All right, tell him how Dad, he almost made the bobsled team for the Olympics. So he's just climbing on his back. His fucking
Hell
arms
yeah.
like, God, fucking chill. When am I getting fucking out of here? Possibly.
Not too doughy to climb up on Garfunkel's back. That guy wasn't short. That's Paul Simon.
Man, no smartphone, no Uber. You're just like stuck at the function. Your driver's not picking you up for an hour. You're just like, oh, God.
100%. And then...
Save me, Paul Simon.
Basically, as a result of this fucking bar mitzvah, Lou began coming out of his shell. And he started going with Alan Gross to movies like The Beatles' Help. And then the two of them started donning suits. And this is actually true, too, because Alan Gross backed this up.
I don't like your use of the word actually, but...
They would don suits and clip-on ties, and they would sneak into the NBC studios at Rockefeller to gawk and obsess over the going-ons of behind-the-scenes studio television. It was also this time, that same year, that Lou had a pivotal experience by attending his first concert, which everybody... Such a pivotal experience, seeing your first concert. He saw his cousins duo, Simon and Garfunkel, at the Forest Hills Tennis Stadium in Queens.
Played it.
I was going to ask. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's mythical. It's great.
Okay.
Side note, like, it is just a big stadium, you know? It's like concrete and like it's killer. Zohran Mamdani, when asked in the debate, what's your favorite New York music venue? He picked Forest Hills, which is a weird answer. You could say the Bowery, the Mercury.
Yeah. The history's crazy. Like Eric said, it's a beautiful horseshoe-shaped coliseum.
Yeah.
3 years earlier, from this show that Lou Pearlman saw, it was the site where the Beatles played their first stadium show ever. Mm-hmm. A year later, Bob Dylan would play a landmark concert there, and the stadium kind of became synonymous with, after those two, with memorable performances. Ray Charles.
Secret tunnels underneath it and stuff.
Crazy.
There's like the after party site that's like subterranean. It's awesome.
Yeah, basically, I kind of did some Wikipedia, and yeah, like the Ray Charles concert there in the 60s was like monumental, as was like the Rolling Stones and Hendrix's performance there. So you can imagine, even Eric, who got to play it, is like, in awe of like the whole majestic and mythical experience. You can imagine how pivotal it is for a little Lou Pearlman, who's backstage, with like a silhouetted his cousin
Yeah.
and Paul Simon, and they're doing this whole thing out to the whole thing.
It's one thing to be in the grandstands at the Coliseum. It's another thing to be in there with the gladiators, like seeing what goes down. It's crazy.
Fighting tigers.
Fucking tigers, man. Not fucking tigers.
Yeah. Pearlman had a VIP pass. He's looking out at the audience of 13,000 people from the same point of view as his cousin. But for Pearlman, it was actually the opening act, The Doors, that Pearlman says made him want to be a rock star. From there, using money made from newspaper deliveries, Lou started taking guitar lessons as a teen at Wabash and Babbage Music Store, which has to be Jewish owned, I swear. Wabash and Babbage, in downtown Flushing, where his parents bought Lou a $250 Guild acoustic guitar. Ooh. Eric, what do you think the value of that is today? I didn't look it up.
60s Guild, I don't know. They're kind of all over the place. $5,000.
Man, I read that and I was like, oh shit.
He gives that price and the make and model, and I was like, $250. That is something.
Now, just any 60s Guild acoustic, like $4 or $5,000. Lou Pearlman's childhood acoustic, as recommended by Art Garfunkel. There you go. That's at least $5,500.
God, yeah. I mean, I've seen guitars from that era go for certain value points, and I was like, I couldn't imagine. So Lou's taking guitar lessons. He's getting good at the guitar. And soon Pearlman pairs up with a local organ player named Joey Kravitz. Not related to Lenny. Who just so happened to have a Farfisa organ. My favorite organ. Next to the heart.
What?
Oh. I get it.
Yep.
I don't get it.
The actual beating heart.
Is an organ.
Oh, my God. Wow.
It's okay.
I'm off on that chicken.
It's
That's good.
good.
No, that's good. That's great.
The same organ that Ray Manzarek from The Doors was using at Forest Hills. Together with a few other young kids from Bleecker Junior High, Lou, Joey, and company played at school functions as the Starlighters. But over the years, the group would change members and instrumentation until 1970, when Lou changed the group's name to Flyer and began playing paid gigs at local nightclubs, opening for acts like Kool and the Gang, Gloria Gaynor, Barry White, and Donna Summer. And Eric was talking about that's like the
We got it together, didn't we, baby?
Disco era, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And with those paid gigs, Lou began taking a heavier interest. Because he's a big kid, you know?
He's a normal-sized person.
Okay. Into the business side of how a band operates. Besides, Pearlman had the self-awareness that he never quite physically fit into a heartthrob musician's mold. Aww.
He went into whatever role he was needed of. When he switched over to manager for a bit, but he also had to go back to guitar and stuff.
He would fill in, yeah.
Lou Pearlman is a multifaceted ruby. And
Fanny actually is right. Pearlman does find his
actually
roles.
Shit.
Yes.
Again with the actually.
Sorry, dude. It's I realized I said 100% like 800 times last episode. So
Facts.
Valid.
He eventually gave up playing rhythm guitar and Flyer himself and went to work as their rhythm
manager.
Yeah. He eventually gave up playing rhythm guitar and Flyer himself and went to work as their manager, hoping to land the band a record deal. But Lou set off to chase another dream before finding his way back to the music and entertainment industry. That dream was in blimps and airplanes. Yes. And Eric was just talking about it. But yes, Eric is completely correct in the fact that Lou is metaphorically a blimp of a person.
He's a blimp of a man. Yeah, he's drifting around, taking space. Because like that's the. If you're up in the air, the whole communication in the radio is like he had a radio listening to those communications. Like it's busy when you're in an airplane moving fast through like crowded areas. With a blimp, it's like I'm here. Yeah. I'm still here.
The blimp has the same
word
as Lou does. However, Ray Sidan, the other childhood friend of Lou's who met Pearlman as members of his grade school audio-visual club, and fun fact, Sidan appeared as Dogface in The Toxic Avenger.
Crazy.
And I had mentioned this to the guys that I looked up that scene so I could try to like see Ray Sidan's face and put a face to his quotes. And all I can think of now is Dogface from Toxic Avenger Part 3. But he recalled Lou as a gregarious geek who had fascinating stories, could talk circles around anyone, and now that Lou was known as the kid in the neighborhood who played guitar and was, in fact, Art Garfunkel's cousin, Revolving cliques of kids began hanging out at the Pearlman's apartment when his parents were away. They'd listen to Lou pitch reasons why they should be his friend. Sidan finished. You'd come over to Lou's house. He would be hosting one group of kids who were looking at pictures of his cousin, Art Garfunkel. And you'd have another group who he was going to have over to try to figure out how they were going to take a blimp ride at the nearby Flushing Airport. Sidan said it was all very hectic. Flushing Airport was within eyesight of Mitchell Gardens, the apartment complex where everybody lived. Lou's father, a former World War II tail gunner, would take the young Pearlman on quick outings between the cleaners and various deliveries. They'd sit outside the airport fence watching planes land and take off, drinking Yoo-hoo and eating sandwiches. And in 1964, when the Goodyear blimps rolled in for the World's Fair, the cigar-shaped balloons just hovered in the air over Queens for weeks, wafting by Lou's bedroom window from across the expressway. Alan Gross's father, Lou's babysitter, who worked in electronics, was able to score Alan and Lou a radio that let them listen to the blimp pilots talk to the ground crews. Soon, Gross and Lou were picking up on the lingo and communications in the process. Alan Gross had goaded Lou into venturing over to Flushing Airport, where they lurked around the Goodyear hangar all summer, begging the crew for a ride. But the crew repeatedly told Lou that the only civilians that got to ride in the Goodyear blimp were members of the press. So Lou came back with a story that he'd written for his school newspaper, and the charmed Goodyear PR man helped get Lou the necessary press credentials in order for him to score his first real blimp trip that he brought his mom along for. And I'd also mentioned this to Eric and Thany, but his mom was terrified of blimps because she assumed that they were still filled with hydrogen, like the Hindenburg, and that had happened recently in New York like a decade earlier. So she was
that only that was like the was it the,
I thought the same thing, and then I looked it up and it was like, oh, it's like fresh in her mind.
Is it like after World War II?
I think there's less time from the Hindenburg and when Lou gets his ride than there is from like now and us experiencing 9/11.
Oh, the humanity.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was like, Mom, they don't put hydrogen in them no more. Come on.
Also, I think, at least the three of us, I think we got over airplanes and skyscrapers pretty quick there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on it.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. Nothing to say about that.
I avoided nothing at any point.
Yeah, nothing to say about that. But here is what Lou said of his first blimp ride experience. Yeah. Oh, Eric. Lou said of his first blimp ride experience,
"It went way beyond mere fun for me. It was like being aboard a giant cruise ship in the sky."
Lou would go back to the hangar all summer, he said, eventually getting a job cleaning up the hangar, washing the crew trucks, running errands, and occasionally catching the ropes when the blimps landed, while also, he said, scoring plenty of rides along the way. Pearlman said,
"I was infatuated. I'd seen a whole new world."
I'm not doing it this time.
Yeah, you don't have to do it.
A new fantastic point of view.
Yes, thanks, Danny. Capitalized it. Blimps, again, the metaphorical Pearlman. It was basically a pillar of his persona, including this story and other forays into the airship business. However, much like Lou's paper routes, these exaggerations and fabrications were actually details lifted from Alan Gross's life. Gross, who lived his whole adult life in the same Mitchell Gardens apartment that he grew up in and inherited from his parents, was always a sidekick of Lou's, like we've mentioned. He was his babysitter. He was just kind of the guy who felt sorry for Lou, was a few years older, and always knew about Lou's wheelin' and dealin' tycoonship. But Gross sort of emphasizes that, hey, my interest in blimps was never about money. Alan Gross had gotten into airships, as he says, solely for the love of the blimps themselves, the physics, and their simple bargain with gravity.
A bargain which Lou Pearlman was not winning.
Hey. Bingo! Gross, whose living room still faces the former site of Flushing Airport, said it was actually from the purchase of his parents' apartment that Lou Pearlman would watch the blimps pass by. Lou's family apartment windows faced the opposite direction, and there was no possible way that he could actually see the blimps from his unit.
Yeah, it's not like blimps can fly over there or anything.
No, he doesn't have windows even facing over there towards the airport.
I was just joking. Blimps can fly anywhere.
Yeah,
Kinda.
Anywhere the wind blows.
I was gonna, depending on the prevailing currents at the time.
Gross says that he wouldn't have ever been able to see much from his own window, and furthermore, Gross in fact tells his own version of Lou's airship love story and backs it up in Tyler Gray's hit charade by showing documents such as the Goodyear press kit that the blimp hanger's PR man had given Gross, as well as the newspaper clipping that Alan wrote for the North Shore News, which was how Alan Gross had gotten himself and his parents a ride in the Goodyear blimp.
It's crazy he had time to write articles and stuff when he wasn't too busy getting blamed for Lou Pearlman's wrestling mishaps and all that shit.
Honestly, dude.
Also, Alan Gross, he got to hold on to some of Lou's trinkets because he had bigger fish to fry. And he's calling that proof.
Now that you're bringing now that you're bringing Alan Gross up in this context, it is incredible that Alan Gross.
More like Alan Yuck.
Oh,
I'm glad you pocketed that one for right now.
Shit.
Yeah, because Gross basically. He keeps hanging out with Lou, and it's just this matter of
because Lou's a fucking dynamo.
And Lou's an only child, so I don't know if it's this thing. They're both I think they're both only child, so I don't know if it's Gross's thing of they need each other as brothers or what it is. But
Lou's got that sister, supposedly.
That's true. He has the sister from the other marriage. Yes,
they're trauma bonded.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's if we can't make each other better, we can certainly make each other a little worse.
Right. Alan Gross hangs on to Lou Pearlman's friendship way longer than he has to. And so basically, Gross's description of Lou being at the hangar is one in which Pearlman just kind of hung around in the background. Alan Gross described it as Lou Pearlman crept everybody out. His story is totally wrong. It was me. It wasn't Lou. Pearlman did, however, score countless blimp rides throughout the decade.
Lou Pearlman was just one of the guys down at the blimp yard. He was there. He was there every day. He got some kind of a pass at some point. He got hazed like one of the guys. They sent him off for.
Is that what he says?
Yeah, for some propeller wash.
Because I honestly thought the idea of him grabbing the rope to lower the blimp to land was an exaggeration.
No, he does stuff. Propeller wash.
Propeller wash.
Yeah.
Hey, go get the can of propeller wash.
Go get the can of propeller wash.
That does not exist. Yeah, no, I get that.
Which, as people who have flown planes like me and Eric, I flew a plane one time. I never told you about it.
No, you did. Flat Earth pilot. You did tell me about it.
Oh, no. I did that in Seattle. Ashley flew a plane.
Fun.
Propeller wash is just when rain hits the propeller or something.
Thing you got to do.
Yeah, but it's like blinker fluid too. Hey, go get the can of propeller wash from the drawer. Doesn't exist.
Yeah, one of the guys. He didn't creep nobody out.
Gross and Pearlman seem like they're trying to figure out who's Simon and who's Garfunkel in this situation. It's
Eric.
A lot of Garfunkels think that they're a Simon
coming through with the metaphors. That's good. Because Gross does admit that Pearlman did, however, score countless blimp rides throughout that decade. And by the time they were both 16 years old, the husky and hyperactive Lou was in his own mind an airship and musical mover with a famous cousin who entertained an eclectic assembly of friends with schemes like having a local printer make fake stock certificates for his fake blimp company. But Pearlman was a math whiz and did tutor neighborhood kids for extra cash on the side. So because everyone had a favorite peculiarity of Lou's, he amassed a cross-section of acquaintances from different cliques. A spectrum of popular kids to nerds, but mostly all guys, who curiously mingled with the fast-talking, red-headed Jewish kid from Queens. And by the time Pearlman could drive, he was coordinating school break road trips with the guys in his neighborhood down the East Coast to places like Orlando to stop and visit Disney for a day, and then continuing on to Miami or Fort Lauderdale to hang at the beach, swim in tepid pools, and hang at the ocean, hoping to meet up with girls and score alcohol. Alcohol, it should be noted that Lou would never drink. He didn't drink. So growing up, he's stone sober through all this stuff.
No distractions.
No distractions.
No chicks, no booze, just some tepid tide pools.
The trips began to develop a dual purpose, and he would spend half the time in Florida on idea scouring sessions, picking up on shortcuts and tax loopholes, and the conversations he would have with random people on the beach would further develop the entrepreneurial exploits in his own mind. And that is where we'll pick up for part 3 of our series, where Lou Pearlman and a carload of teenage boys are listening to Christopher Cross and heading south
Listening
to the borders of Florida.
the greatest guitar solo never heard at the end of Run Like the Wind.
And I got so
Such a long way to go.
That song rules.
So good. And so next episode we'll get into basically Lou Pearlman is attending Queens College and he starts to really put all his airship ventures into play and starts to develop this idea of maybe hopping into the music business after meeting a certain boy band on an airplane. How about that?
It all takes place in the skies, man. This is great.
Yeah. The Sky King Eric Hawk himself will have a lot to say, I think, in these next few episodes. So again, thanks to everybody who's been listening. Please rate, review, and share the Deep Fried Anything podcast on the platform of your choice.
Spread the void.
Yeah. We want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor today, Cookies Country Chicken.
I enjoyed
Thanks,
my chicken
Cookies.
thoroughly.
Oh my God, incredible.
Real.
They made this episode super spicy. If the details of Lou Pearlman's childhood weren't already spicy enough,
Juicy.
they ghost peppered this bitch. We also here want to give a huge shout out to our buddy Riley Poor and Weirdest Apparel, which you will hear an ad for on this episode. Riley's ad support actually was instrumental in getting this episode taped, and so we want to thank Riley immensely.
Riley.
Actually, Eric, can you give a quick overview of what he does with his Radically Included project?
Riley does so much for everything. He's a super good friend and been tight with the band. I've known Riley for like 8 years, from the time that he was at Nike, from film work, from everything else, and he's just a tireless advocate. I don't know that line of this new project particularly.
This is
overdue for a call.
He
with this
told
guy.
us that it was his brand. It was his brand new merch company called Weirdest Apparel Company, and the shirt designs are really, really neat. Again, most
It's
of the
crazy art. He's awesome.
Yes, most of the T-shirt sales.
Thanks, Riley.
Go to his organization, Radically Included, which again works on inclusive ventures for all kinds of stuff. Making accessibility a priority, which we're all about here on the Deep Fried Anything podcast. You can follow Riley on Instagram at Riley Poor if you're curious about his advocacy work. Eric and Thany, got any plugs?
I don't have a plug again.
You had a plug.
I was supposed to get my plug ready, but
Everything that Thany's wearing, he made.
it's not
So-
true. I didn't make this.
Oh, no.
I didn't make this shirt though. It's like a Cupid doll. But it
Sure
says-
is.
But it's got a hula skirt.
Cute.
That's pretty cool.
Cute. That also reminds me that we did start our Patreon. It's in slow development because we're all busy bees. Bzz. But you can subscribe for $5 a month there. And if you are a subscriber of over 6 months, we'll send you one of them mugs that Thany makes. So make sure you follow us there. If you're into the Patreon support, we could use it. That would be awesome. Well, I think that's it for us here at the Deep Fried Anything podcast.
I want to jump in my blimp and go back down to Portland town.
There you go. Don't believe in God. Don't believe in me. And we'll see you next time on the Deep Fried Anything podcast.
Is that how you signed off last time?
Yeah, that's my sign off,
That's
dude.
intense.
Yeah.